Get ready for action because Manchester City winger Savinho has missed out on the World Cup selection, and we break down exactly what he needs to do to take the next massive step in his career. We look at the specific areas where this Brazilian international needs to sharpen his game to become a regular for both the club and the national team.
Here's a simple way to protect your phone without stress. This ALEN 3-pack comes with tempered glass screen protectors, camera lens protectors, and an installation frame for an easier, cleaner fit. It's clear, case-friendly, and built to help guard against scratches and everyday bumps. Check the link in the comments to get it on Amazon.
Next up, we are diving into the intense football drama as Manchester City sets its sights on double glory, preparing for a massive clash in the Adobe Women's FA Cup final against Brighton and Hove Albion. Find out how the citizens navigated the recent tournament and what this final means for their trophy ambitions. Now, we turn our attention to the transfer buzz as Manchester City explores exciting new options for their midfield, focusing on defensive midfielder Erik Lira. We examine reports from Mexico detailing why the City Football Group is seriously interested in securing this versatile player for the summer. And finally, we look at the tactical tightrope walk as Pep Guardiola plans heavy rotations for the Premier League clash against Crystal Palace, and we discuss the potential changes involving players like Nico Gonzalez and Erling Haaland. Don't miss this breakdown. Subscribe now and join the conversation below. Manchester City winger Savinho has missed selection for the Brazilian squad ahead of the FIFA World Cup, a setback that highlights areas for immediate improvement as he seeks to establish himself at both the club and international level. The Brazilian international, who is nearing his second season at the club, has accumulated 81 appearances for Manchester City, netting 6 goals and providing 16 assists. These statistics indicate that Savinho needs to refine his end product to advance. Having often served as a squad player and impact substitute rather than a first-team regular, his absence from the national team selection was largely anticipated, given the competition among quality wingers in Brazil. Savinho now faces a critical juncture to solidify his place in Pep Guardiola's starting 11 and earn a regular spot for the national team. The key areas identified for development are twofold. Firstly, Savinho must overcome hesitation and indecisiveness when shooting on goal, an issue that has frequently cost him scoring opportunities. Improving this aspect of his game is crucial for him to break into the City's starting lineup. Secondly, significant development is required in his decision-making while in possession. Reports suggest Savinho sometimes attempts to beat a defender only to stop and reattempt the move, indicating a need to improve his progression and delivery into the final third. As a 22-year-old, these technical and mental aspects of his game are expected to mature with experience. While missing the World Cup squad is disappointing, this opportunity can serve as a catalyst for Savinho to elevate his game. By focusing intensely on these identified weaknesses, he can take the necessary steps to become a consistent first-team player for Manchester City and a regular for the Brazilian national team, benefiting both his career trajectory and his club. Manchester City is laser-focused on securing a second trophy following their recent Women's Super League title success, as they prepare for the Adobe Women's FA Cup final. City will face Brighton and Hove Albion in a high-stakes match at Wembley Stadium on Sunday, May 31st, with kickoff scheduled for 3 p.m. BST. The path to the final has been dramatic for both sides. Brighton navigated a challenging run, stunning European champions and record FA Cup holders Arsenal in the quarterfinal with a 2-0 victory, securing their place in the semi-finals. Their journey included a 2-0 win over Nottingham Forest in the 4th round and a close 2-1 triumph over West Ham, which set up their clash with 14-time FA Cup champions Arsenal. Meanwhile, Manchester City showcased their attacking prowess, netting 10 goals across their first 2 FA Cup fixtures, dispatching Bournemouth and Sheffield United. City also secured a thrilling victory over Birmingham City in the quarterfinal, setting the stage for a 5-goal encounter against Chelsea, where they ultimately clinched the win in extra time thanks to goals from Mary Fowler and a brace from Bunny Shaw. The semi-final stage saw Brighton face Liverpool in a thrilling contest that required extra time for a decision. Manuela Vengas, along with Haley and Nadine Nordum, managed to fight back from an initial 2-0 deficit against the Reds. Tickets for the Adobe Women's FA Cup final are currently available for purchase on the Wembley Stadium website. Manchester City is reportedly keeping a close eye on Cruz Azul defensive midfielder Erik Lira as potential summer recruitment, amid ongoing contract discussions involving Rodri. Reports from Mexico indicate that City Football Group is actively scouting Lira for a move. Luciano Zavagno, a scout representing the City Football Group, recently visited Mexico to observe Lira in person during Cruz Azul's recent match against Club Necaxa. The scouting trip was highlighted by photos shared on social media featuring the CFG official alongside Lira's agent, Mauricio Medrano, according to reports from Record and Sport Witness. Lira has publicly expressed his ambition to move to Europe following the FIFA World Cup, stating to TUDN that he is actively working to make this aspiration a reality. This public declaration signals a readiness to pursue a transfer. The interest from Manchester City appears concrete. Lira, a 26-year-old Mexico international valued at approximately €12 million, is noted for his versatile skill set, capable of operating effectively as both a holding midfielder and a center-back. This positional flexibility aligns perfectly with the preferences of Manchester City sporting director Hugo Viana, especially given the expected midfield changes following Rodri's future uncertainty. City remains one of several potential destinations for the player, with the Premier League and La Liga being identified as the most likely leagues. Lira's profile fits the type of under-the-radar, long-term prospect that CFG clubs frequently target, securing talent before the wider market fully assesses their value. While a formal offer is pending and contingent on his performance at the World Cup, the groundwork for a potential transfer is reportedly being established. Manchester City is planning a heavy rotation for their upcoming Premier League clash against Crystal Palace at the Etihad Stadium on Wednesday night, as manager Pep Guardiola aims to manage fatigue ahead of a demanding schedule. This fixture marks the first of 3 matches in 6 days as City strives to maintain their pursuit of the treble. Following a recent 3-0 victory over Brentford, Guardiola emphasized the necessity of rotation, stating, "Otherwise we cannot arrive at the final or Bournemouth how we want to." He confirmed that while the Palace game itself is manageable given the rest period, the subsequent travel to London and the fixture against Bournemouth will necessitate careful decision-making. Key personnel updates highlight several potential changes. Rodri is recovering from a groin injury that sidelined him since the April 19th match against Arsenal, making it unlikely he will be risked close to the FA Cup final. Conversely, Abdulkadir Kusanov could return to the central defense alongside Mark Guehi, having missed the Brentford game with a knock sustained against Everton. Ruben Dias is available, but may again be relegated to the bench due to a hamstring injury. In the attacking third, there is potential for a straight swap at left-back with Ryan Aitnuri replacing Nico O'Reilly. Nico Gonzalez is poised to deputize for Rodri in central midfield. Omar Marmoush, Phil Foden, and Savinho are pushing for starting roles after impressing off the bench against Brentford, although Jeremy Doku's form limits his availability. Consequently, Erling Haaland and Ryan Cherki could be rested, creating opportunities for Marmoush and Foden to help close the gap to leaders Arsenal by 2 points. The predicted starting XI for Manchester City is 4-2-3-1, featuring Donnarumma in goal, with Nunes, Kusanov, Guehi, and Aitnuri in defense, Nico and Bernardo in midfield, Semenyo, Foden, and Doku in attack, with Marmoush as the striker. The match is scheduled for 8 p.m. BST on Wednesday, May 13, 2026 at the Etihad Stadium, and will be broadcast on Sky Sports.